All set, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. We close to 6:30. I'd like to welcome everyone to our meeting, Township of Nipissing, Tuesday, December 5th at 6:30 PM. I'll ask if there is any disclosure of pecuniary interest. Seeing none, we'll move right on to committee reports. And I'll ask Councillor Young.
I don't have anything tonight.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Foot.
I do. We had rec committee last night. It was a very short meeting. We just updated, no update on Bottle Drive. We postponed yesterday's pickup just with everything going on. We are working on a calendar for Bottle Drive to try and get some help and support for us to pick up on a monthly basis. So working on that with the committee members and see what we can come up with. We did work on getting the last of our yearly events scheduled for a point person for them, and then we'll work on volunteers after that. So I think we're almost set for all except for one. It's gonna be a busy year for rec committee, so it'll be fun. It's gonna be lots of fun. Commanda updated us a little bit. They had their annual bazaar and bake sale. They had good, the people that were there said it was really good. They had good commitment and good business from them. And then they sold approximately 62 meals. So they're down from pre-pandemic, but they're working on it. Upcoming events for them are their Christmas party and dinner, and it's based on RSVP. And they have a New Year's Eve party coming with just local musicians and kind of a jam night. I think that's the biggest part of what went on. It was the shortest meeting ever. Not a lot going on.
Well, end of year, planning for next year, though.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Okay,
fun.
any questions? So Councillor Kirky?
No, I have no.
No, no questions.
Okay,
Now
oh,
to
sorry.
you.
Okay, all right. We had a library board meeting on November the 20th. I introduced Brenda Lennon for our new member at large for Nipissing. Sadly, our past member passed away last night. The committee recognized Marty Schreider for his ideas in spearheading the Lisa Flam fundraiser. We also recognize the organizing committee on the success of the fundraiser, which netted $15,588 after expenses. This will potentially go towards a quiet room, box books, new shelving, craft tables, and an outdoor table in additions to the library of things. Northern Ontario Heritage Fund Corporation grant application. We are sending off the next stage, but we have to commit 25% of the cost. So we passed a motion to do that. So that cost is $3,069. The Friends of the Library have agreed to pay $1,000 of that. So the total is $22,449. So far, it looks like we might get it. That'll update all the lighting in the facility, as well as a heat pump, emergency doors for the lower level, and a hitching rail, because we recognize that not all of our patrons drive automobiles. On that note, there's also a push out there from the Ontario Library Association, as well as the Federation of Ontario Public Libraries, to have the provincial libraries operating grant increased from the existing 21 million that has been in place for more than 25 years to an additional 25 million annually, to bring it up to 46 million, which would be on par with inflation. Libraries are barely surviving on shoestring budgets, and they're taking on larger roles in their respective communities. As noted, the contribution from the partners communities for our library just pays the wages. The rest is all from grants and fundraising. All the rest of the infrastructure is paid through fundraising and grants. Farther down our agenda, you'll see a motion I'm tabling to support this initiative. Thanks, Kim, for putting that together for me. Ontario Trillium Resiliency Communities Fund grant has been submitted. This will be used to post-pandemic technology upgrades. There was some discussion around the seniors grant that we didn't get this year. We're not going to apply for it. It goes beyond our scope. So anyway, that was to get busing from the Pines and from Meadowview and Trug Creek. So also upcoming events, the Story Walk, which they've already started, and then the theme is 5 days until Christmas. They put a float in the parade, December 14th at Raising Readers. You'll like this one, Tom.
I saw it. Thank you.
Instead of having one of the mayors read to the kids, we have a local radio personality and author of children's books, Dennis Chippa from The Gathering Place, who will read one of his Christmas series books. Of course, all the mayors and council members are welcome to attend. Also mark this down. Starting time is 6 o'clock. Apparently Santa will be there in attendance. December 15th is our annual open house with an invitation sent out to all mayors and councilors. This will be from 1 until 5 p.m. That's on the 15th. Also, thought I had something else here. Anyway, sorry. So our next meeting will be on December the 18th. And we will start our policy reviews. We have 5 or 6 policies that we'll be reviewing on that date. We were trying to have a light day for December 18th, but it looks like we have more than full agenda already. So we're not there yet. Anyway, that's all I have.
Okay, good. Yeah, I thought it was my year to read that Christmas story, and I got that, so. But I did write it down, December 14th, 6 p.m. See Santa. Councillor Butler.
Nothing this time.
Okay. I had on November 21st, the Golden Sunshine. And again, that's its incorporated name, but we always called it the Pines. We made a presentation to DSAB about the Pines 2 affordable housing. Would be based on, for those of us around the East Ferris model, that's what we're calling it. And it would be 10 2-bedroom units. Right now, we just found that out, there's a wait list of 88 for the Pines. And this would be one-time funding. But it was interesting, DSAB survey said that we don't need seniors housing. They need single family housing. So if they need more on their list than 88, there's certainly a need, you know. This new build has to be market and affordable. And the latter is 20% less than market. I didn't realize what affordable housing was, but it's 20% less than market. And there'll be more to come. They're taking it back and crunching numbers. We also got, number 2, we got our baseline property condition report. And it's interesting, it goes over all the capital needs that they're going to have in the future. And it was done by Pynchon, which I thought was, this is another branch of the people that are looking at our landfill. We went over the 2024 budget as it relates to the 2023 project update. They're having a Christmas lunch December 19th. Well, the Christmas dinner for residents is later, and that's subsidized by the board. It was interesting. One of the members said, do you want us there? And they went, no. I thought, great. That's great to be a senior.
Yeah.
Gift cards for volunteers on the board, but I said not for elected officials. So for the volunteers. The manager's report, they gave out the contract for painting from the project update. Manager received direction to update our computer and had an update on the laundry machines. It seems not all Canadian coins come from the same mint, and different coins have different weights. That's what the laundry people said, and that's why the machines keep jamming, because some of them are made in another country and are lighter. That's why they're jamming our machines. So that was news to me. And they discussed investments and asked that our rep make a presentation in person. And he didn't, so now they're telling him to come on back from Toronto and come up and make a presentation in person. So it'll be interesting to see if he makes it or not. So that was the Pines in a nutshell. And then the next day was East Home. And they've, again, like Steve's group, we've applications in for 2 funding streams. Systems and program changes, scheduling tools, communication tools are still under development. Camera configuration is on hold pending a policy initiation, because you can't put up a camera till everybody knows what it's looking at and whether it has sound and how close people are going to be to it if it has sound. Staffing, recruitment strategies continue. The board gave the administrator the go-ahead to seek more temporary foreign workers, as we can't cover all the shifts locally, even after the people we brought in a year ago. Insurance renewal costs are up approximately 6%, and our coverage has decreased in some areas by 50%. And the building value has increased because of all the work they've done on the air exchangers. And just to ballpark it, our insurance for East Home, for the first time, just topped $100,000 for a year. So it's really tough. Building maintenance got a quote on additional flooring, and again, they're gonna wait for one more week to do the panel upgrade. That's when they have to shut all the power down to East Home for the number of hours it takes to fix the hot spots in the panel. So I hope it's a nice warm day. The ministry did a telephone inspection on November 20th, no additional information. And a number of incidents, including an outbreak and a rhinovirus outbreak. Labor relations, we've begun negotiations with CUPE. Mediation was in November. And one particular grievance they are going to take to arbitration. It can't be heard till 2025. And the person is right now in a leave of absence. So it's till 2025. That's when we can get the arbitrator. And according to the Fixing Long-Term Home Act, they continue quality update meeting, advisory committee, and med management was November 7th. There was an accidental fire alarm on November 17th, but they said great response. It's interesting, when you pull a fire alarm, all the doors unlock. Somebody pulled a fire alarm and then tried to get out.
Oh, no.
So pretty crafty.
Yeah.
But was unsuccessful. WSB, we've done first 4 topics completed, and so a possible reduction in fees, but they've given us 4 more topics we need to do to get a further reduction in WSIB fees. The Christmas party was on November 25th. I wasn't there, but the next meeting is December 20th. So, and I looked at the agenda, like yours, it's huge. So trying to wrap up everything by the end of the year. So good luck to all again. And with that, we can move on to our agenda, which is relatively long as well. So we'll go to number 3, to adopt the minutes of the meeting on November 14th. So I need a mover and a seconder. Stay on this side with Councillor Yem and Councillor Foote. And I know if there was anything, you would have mentioned it before this, so I'm going to ask. It's number 2023, number 217, moved by Councillor Yem, seconded by Councillor Foote, that the minutes of the council meeting held November 14th, 2023 be adopted as published. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Now, next, and again, we've had this for a little time, but these are the council meeting schedule for next year. Does I looked over, I didn't see any issues. Is everybody good with it? Because if that's the case, I'll ask for a mover into the seconder. Counselor Kirky. Counselor Butt. So it's number 2023-218, moved by Counselor Kirky, seconded by Counselor Butler, that we adopt the 2024 council meeting schedule as follows. All in favor? Carried. Okay, now, next, well, we're gonna start with, if you give me just top one. So what we've got is the municipal holiday hours, and we looked at, we've got the township office and the landfill sites. Now, since this came out, and you'll notice in your package, it said draft. And we have a draft proposal for holiday hours. I haven't been made aware of any changes to the landfill hours, but there's been some discussion regarding office hours. We checked with a number of nearby offices. And of course, we didn't hear from Callender, but, or Pawson, I'm sorry, I apologize. If anybody from Callender's listening, I apologize. We did hear from Callender, East Ferris. We didn't hear from Pawson, unfortunately. Their format is what came out in the draft and that we followed last year, but there seems also to be some pushback from the community that we should be open sometime during the holidays. And in a conversation with staff, they assured me that they could work 1 day or 2 days at council's direction, or we keep it as it is. So I open the floor to you, the council, and ask for your direction.
I think it should be exactly what we had here. I don't see anything wrong with those days to be closed.
Okay, now, what we did run into, some people said that that would be the time of the year that they are off and that they could come to the township because otherwise they don't get off till 6 o'clock at night. And so that would be the only time of year they could come if they had any questions not at council, but at the office itself, you know, so that was a consideration. Now, I want to point out that any phone call that is made during that week is forwarded immediately to the administrator. So it's not like we hang up the phone. Chris is still getting all the phone calls and that kind of thing. But with the office closed, there'd be no in-person visits. And again, you know, it's what you think, if we need a day, 2 days, or we stay with the format the way it is. Yep.
Something. So it's important to note too, that the building department will be closed over that week. They're actually closed, he's away for 3 weeks. And the planning department is also, our planner is away that week. So any questions would be around taxes or things like that. Dog tags are not available till the following week. And taxes were due September 30th. There's not a lot of arrears that should be coming in, so.
Don't buy your dog tags this week.
They're not for sale yet.
Wait till January.
And it was just some of the feedback that came from people, residents, just speaking about it, right? Like, they're like, hey, we're closed all of that time, and that was, they were asking the questions.
Well,
And we just said we bring it up, and because they're saying, hey, so and it's 2 days, right? And they were just asking questions, because that's when they're gonna take time off, some of them.
yeah. Now, historically, this is the way we've done it historically, right? And it never seemed to be an issue then.
Since the
Just saying.
pandemic, though.
Yeah,
But we
the
we still answer emails once a day for those days for the Wednesday, Thursday. And then we would have the phones forwarded as well.
Okay, so we have the phones forward, you have emails are available, then they will be answered. is there anything that they would be required to go to the office for?
Not that I'm aware of. Fire permits would be issued by now, or they can be done electronically.
Yeah,
Planning's off.
filing's
building
off, filing's
inspection's
off.
Like,
Cemetery is
Yeah.
null and void at this point in the year.
Yeah, I'm saying
But
leave it closed.
we do have staff. Kim and I can be there on the Wednesday and the Thursday.
be nice for you to have a holiday, like,
Just leave it the way it is.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Well, we need to put forward a motion to accept this as it is or accept it as amended, right?
Yeah, we have all three, 1 day, 2 days are closed. So,
So I would admit, are you open for motions now?
yes, we can take any of those three motions, we have them already.
I move that we stick with the original draft. Which is, yeah,
I have them both, all the others here,
And
but
this is the one.
this one here,
yeah,
Yeah, we have that one.
okay,
I've got it, I can read it.
I move that we accept that one. Go with that one.
Okay,
Second.
and Counselor Butler. Okay. So it's number R 2023-219. Moved by Counselor Kirky, seconded by Counselor Butler, that the 2023 holiday hours for municipal operations be accepted as follows. And you all have the copy, all in favor? Carried. And right, and I've written a couple of things down here. This is to authorize the township office to close on Thursday. It will be open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, 2023, to allow staff to attend training. This isn't just it's all, there, but it's going to be group presentations from OMERS by Zoom.
Yes, so it will be here at the community center and it's for all township staff. So this is our opportunity to have our group benefits are coming in by Zoom. OMERS is coming in by Zoom. We're doing our Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act customer service training as a group, which is required, and our Ministry of Labor workplace violence and harassment training that day, and we're going over the HR policy manual. So it's everything, and it's in-house. We're not bringing anybody else in. We're doing the training in-house.
So it'll save us some money. And, and again, I go over this and I share this with some people and they said, well, why wouldn't you do it on the weekend? I said, well, why wouldn't we just pay everybody overtime and do that? And then you want to save money. So, yeah.
These are required trainings that we
Yeah.
have to have, and this is the most efficient way for us to do it.
Yep. So if there's no discussion, I need a mover and a second. Counselor Yam and Counselor Foot. So it's number R 2023-220, moved by Counselor Yam, seconded by Counselor Foot, that we authorize the township office to close Thursday, December 21st, 2023, to allow staff to attend training. All in favor? Carried. We have the resolutions that we talked about. The last one. In my pack, I had that AMO one, not a resolution, but to talk about, maybe that's in correspondence. Is it the one about,
Lake of Bays,
no, the one about
Voting is done.
Keenan Parker, yeah.
Yeah,
it's there.
that's in the correspondence, to
Yeah.
bring it back for discussion.
Yeah, okay. So the first one was, this is the Lake of Bays resolution about floating accommodations. And we thought this was a good resolution to support. So, Steve?
I have a question on it, because I have a little bit of an issue with it. If you look at the total resolution, you get down and further that the council, the corporation, and township of Lake Bays. There's the paragraph 3, lines 2, 3, and 4. Camping reduced from 21 days to 7 days. Now, across Ontario and on Crown land, it's always been, as far as I can remember, it's been 21 days camping. I have a real issue with reducing that to 7. Also, not permit any camping on water within 300 meters of a developed lot. 300 meters is quite a ways. You know, there's a lot of provincial parks with private property next to them, and people camp there, and the private property is right next door. You know, so and then a lot within a narrower water body, 150 meters, so there's no camping on a water body that's 150 meters wide. Is that?
Mhm.
You know, and then should a municipality have more restrictive bylaws related to camping, these bylaws would apply. Well, how about Crown land within the township?
I don't think anybody would have a more restrictive bylaw, do you?
Well, the provincial bylaw, and from the sounds of it, the Lake of Bays could have a more restrictive bylaw.
They may.
So I was reading those, and I have an issue with those 3 lines.
Okay.
See, because they didn't say camping on a waterway. They said camping reduced from 21 days to 7 days. Well, it's a provincial statute. Actually, I think it might even be a federal statute. I'm not sure that you can camp for 21 days.
Yeah, they haven't put camping on the waterway, you're correct.
And the 21 days, anybody who's ever moose hunted up north, and I realize that they say Southern Ontario.
We can defer this motion and reword it with those changes that you'd like to see.
So camping is reduced. Is it okay for 21 days to 7 days if it's on a waterway? And I mean, like on the water body.
Well, they have to clarify that, because camping on a shoreline, you know, every moose
Totally
hunter in
different.
northern Ontario has
Yeah.
camped for 21 days on a shoreline. You know?
Yeah, and I think this is supposedly only on the water, not on the shoreline,
Well,
but
they
it's
need
not.
to clarify that.
right? Okay, so let's look at that and rework that.
And clarify those points in our
Yeah.
motion for the next. meeting.
Because this is their document,
Correct.
and I have difficulty supporting it the way it's written.
So we will defer this.
Days, you just move your floating flotilla there and
Right.
start
Yeah.
over again.
Yeah,
But I can see, I wouldn't want somebody on a barge out in front of my home for 21 days.
No,
Absolutely not.
I get that, but
Yeah.
the way this is written, you know,
Yeah,
the way that, and if it's 300 meters out, that's quite a ways.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, they could, at your place, they could have an island well between you and them.
Yeah.
Like, chances are they would.
yeah. Where are they dumping their gray water? And
Well, there,
all their,
Those are the items.
Yeah.
that we were
the,
hoping to capture.
yeah, that was, I believe the gray water and that was captured in the, captured it. All vessel gray water will be discharged into a holding tank and disposed of as provincial regulations for new vessels.
well, that's what they say, but if they're out in front of your house for 21 days, they're not gonna go to the toilet, they're gonna go overboard and they're gonna wash their hands in the lake, and that's the 300 meters away. Like after, that's a long time, I think, to have people moored.
Well, but they didn't specify mooring, they
Right.
Yeah,
It says camping.
yeah,
So we
can,
have to go.
but it's on a
That
floating.
distinction that
Yeah,
we would
yeah,
like to make
yeah.
in our motion to ensure that that's
Yeah.
what's captured.
a
correct?
floating accommodation is
Yeah.
one thing, camping is a
Yeah.
totally different animal.
Yeah.
You get the sailboats and they have the bells, those bells on them, and they just nonstop through the night. The wind starts and it's chimes, bing, bing, bing. But it does, they do, they have chimes on them, and not pleasant.
Okay, so we'll reword that and we'll defer it. And again, and I'm glad you looked at it closer, because I think we all agree it's a good motion.
Yeah.
It's just not as clear as it needs to be.
Yeah, the camping part, I
Yeah.
know what you're saying, like go moose hunting, set up in the bush.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Or even camping, like people in a park.
Yeah.
And all provincial parks, they can camp for 21 days.
Our trailer bylaw is also 21 days.
yeah, so we're gonna revisit
We're gonna
that.
defer it and we will reword it, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the next one. And I need a mover and a seconder for that, and I know Councilor Kirky wants to move this one. And this is prohibit vehicles passing on a double lane. And I need a mover and a seconder. Okay, Councilor Butler, and then I'll read it and we'll ask for comment. It's number 2023-221, moved by Councilor Kirky, seconded by Councilor Butler, that the Township of Nipissing supports the investigation into and legal change to prohibit any vehicles from passing on the left side of the lane when it is marked with 2 solid yellow lines. We good?
Yeah.
Okay. Those of you that do that, quit. So, all in favor? Carry.
Big thing today, but we really got the push on now for the split endless divided highway. So passing lane, Jersey wall flips over, I think, every 10 clicks. Sounds like that's gonna be a go in Northern Ontario,
How far
all the way.
to the border? That's
What they're pushing.
I looked at, the one today was on 11 to Hearst, 17 to Sioux,
That's where the most,
Yeah.
their collisions
where the
are.
collisions are.
Yeah,
But last year, the government was able to fund 14 kilometers. So, good luck with that.
Yeah,
I'm optimistic.
well, with the amount of new drivers out there. Every day, somebody is buying it on the northern highways.
Yeah.
Because somebody in a truck is passing another truck on a double line.
Yeah.
And it takes a couple miles to do that stuff.
yeah.
Okay, next we have, and I'm gonna move in a seconder and then we'll discuss this. It's number 222, and this is regarding an RFP for an HR consultant. So if I have a mover and a seconder, and then we'll put it on the floor. Okay, Councilor Foot, Councilor Kirky. So it's number R 2023-222, moved by Councilor Foot, second by Councilor Kirky, and I'm gonna turn the floor over to Chris, who is, and the staff who have gone over this. And
So we did receive 4 submissions for the RFP. We called references for all 4. Pesci and Associates scored highest on the points. Gallagher Consulting came very close. They both understood the scope of what we were looking for. The Pesci and Associates is the recommendation of staff. It's a little bit higher. However, after speaking to, they just recently completed the municipality of East Ferris. They presented their report to East Ferris Council in October of this year, and they did calendar earlier this year. So they know the area, they have the comparables, they've presented to council. I've spoken to the staff at both municipalities, and they had very good references for workable documents that staff can maintain going forward. And it fit everything that we were looking for. So that's staff's recommendation.
And when you looked at your package, there were 2 other really obvious. One was at 50,000
5,000.
and the other was at 5,000. And they just weren't quite in the ballpark. The 5,000 had never done a municipal one before.
We did speak to their references as well as looking over all proposals in depth, and we did rank them all. And the 2 higher rated ones have extensive municipal experience in the HR field. These ones, the other ones did not have as much in the human resources field that we were looking for municipal.
Are there any other questions for Chris? If not, I'll read the motion. That being number 2023-222, moved by Councillor Foote, seconded by Councillor Kirky, that accept the submission from Pesci and Associates in response to RFP for an HR consultant compensation, pay equity and policy review to commence in 2024 and be included in the 2024 operating budget. Total cost of submission, $23,800 plus applicable taxes. All in favor? Okay, seems not that long ago, we asked our Nipissing Recreation Committee member, and last night, our newest, and we're looking at appointing her, came to our meeting last night, sat in just as a non-voting. And so now we have an appointment to the Recreation Committee, so I need a mover and a seconder. Okay. Councillor Foote, Councillor Yam. And if I butcher the pronunciation, I'll know better next time. It's number R 2023-223. Moved by Councillor Foote, seconded by Councillor Yam, that we appoint Lisa Chalapenko Carmody, something like, to the Township of Nipissing.
Yeah.
Recreation Committee for the remainder of the council term. All in favor? Carried. And we all saw a copy of our letter for nonprofit housing board, so I need a mover and a seconder to accept an appointment to the Golden Sunshine Municipal. And again, I want to point out that the Golden Sunshine did visit our previous representative not too long ago, gave him a plaque for his dedication and hard work. And in fact, they were out there to visit twice after that. So I'm really glad they were able to do that because he was a class act. So number 2, 2023-224, moved by Councillor Kirky, seconded by Councillor Butler, that we appoint Calvin Young to the Golden Sunshine Municipal Nonprofit Housing Corporation Board of Management as a Township of Nipissing representative for the remainder of the council term. All in favor? Carried. Okay, now Steve mentioned earlier about supporting our public libraries and the fact that they haven't received any money funding in 25 years. And so we have a resolution today, again, that was in your package, supporting the libraries and asking for their budgets, the library budgets, to be increased by the value they deserve. And if there's any questions, otherwise, I'll ask for mover and seconder. And Councillor Kirky and Councillor Yam. I'll read this, and I most certainly hope you support it because it's really long. Number R, 2023-225, moved by Councillor Kirky, seconded by Councillor Yam. Whereas public libraries are Ontario's farthest reaching, most cost-effective public resource, and whereas the pressures of inflation on public libraries and municipal budgets are growing, as well as social and economic changes in communities across the province, and whereas there has been no increase in provincial funding in 25 years from the provincial libraries operating grant, during which time the value of the province's investment in public libraries has decreased by over 60%. Whereas this funding would support the ongoing operations, programming, resources, frontline staffing, and priority areas of communities which libraries play an important role in. Therefore, the Council of the Township of Nipissing supports the Ontario Library Association and Federation of Ontario Public Libraries to advocate the provincial libraries operating grant, the province of Ontario, by asking for an increase to the budget by an additional $25 million to restore the funding to present day value. And this resolution be forwarded to the Minister of Heritage, Sport and Tourism and Culture Industries, Neil Lumsden, MPP Vic Fideli, Association of Municipalities of Ontario, Rural Ontario Municipal Association, the Federation of Northern Ontario Municipalities, and Ontario Library Association, and the Federation of Ontario Public Libraries. Comments or questions? All in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I thank you for putting that in, Councillor Kirky, and him for starting that. Next. This is the strategic asset management policy. And again, this goes over guiding principles, service, capitalization threshold, government structure, budgeting, and this is a guide.
So our original asset management policy was first adopted by council in June of 2019. Since then, they've changed some of the legislative requirements. So we're working with asset management representatives from KPMG through an asset management program that has been offered for free. We're in round 3. They're helping us to do this. So we've rewritten the asset management policy in keeping with their recommendations. They did an entire report on our asset management plan and our policy with recommendations. Because this policy meets the new requirements within the legislation, they're currently helping us build our asset management policy to meet our asset management program to meet this policy with all of the updates. So we just needed to update. It's a lot of words.
Yes, there was a lot of reading this week.
There's 2 copies to read that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll wait till we get to correspondence. So I need a mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Butler and, okay, Councillor I'll go stay on that side, Counselor Kirky. So it's number R 2023-226, moved by Counselor Butler, seconded by Counselor Kirky, that we adopt an updated strategic asset management policy, replacing the policy approved by resolution R 2019-130. All in favor? Carried. Okay, now, number 14. 10-year capital plan. All we're looking at, if you look at it, is discussion. What I want to point out is when you read it, it says review the 10-year capital forecast. And as we all pointed out here individually and whatever, it's a forecast. They suggest it might be like a weather forecast. Okay, it's gonna change. There's nothing in here written in stone. It's going to change as our priorities are determined, and every year we're gonna have different priorities. And again, something that you noticed when we went through with climate change, our priorities are changing yearly. And so this is a forecast, and what I'd like you to do is look at it, go over it, and when you see something that you have a question, I most certainly cannot answer it, and I'm not gonna pretend to have the answers. So when you have something that you're not sure of, a question, call the office, and Chris will find the appropriate person to hopefully direct you and where you need to go. But again, I want to point out, this is just a forecast, okay? Because as soon as I look at it and say, hey, they're gonna, you know, well, the last time it got moved and got moved and got moved. So you have to have a plan and you take it from there. So is there anything you want to mention now, or do you want to wait and bring this? Because again, there was a lot of reading there too.
And it was just moved ahead a year. Some projects had to be changed up. We do have the preliminary results of the roads need study. We will be having them hopefully come and present that to us in early January, so that will be finalized for adoption. We did move some projects around in keeping with their findings.
But we don't have the final on their findings yet. So there'll be things in there that you're gonna go, what the heck?
Well, there's some things on joint ownership stuff too that we
still do not have an answer from Powassan. We're waiting for them. We did send them a letter in October asking them to meet with us to discuss the Hummel Bridge and the Alsace Boundary Road. They told us that they would get back to us when they discussed their budgeting. We still have not received that information.
Okay, now, we discussed something that I found. Some infrastructure stuff that I was thinking for the Hummel Bridge at some point. About a month ago, I think. It came from AMO, I think. I can't put my finger on it.
We talked about emergency management infrastructure.
Oh, that was emergency management,
That
yeah,
doesn't
okay.
qualify for this. So one of the things that we do have is, we have what's called the NORDS funding, which is Northern Ontario Rural something.
Resource development.
Thank you. And it is only for roads or infrastructure that's been impacted by logging or pit and quarry work. So we can put that funding towards our bridges. And we have some ideas on how we can move forward with that. But working with Calendar, we had identified the culvert that needs replacement, and they have put it in their budget to cover their half, and our half will come out of the North funding, so we will cover that. So we're working well with that municipality, and that will be in the budget coming up.
And we will again address Powassan. And, you know, we're looking at ways that we can get together and discuss these things in the future. And we'll have more from that in the near future. We're talking to Mr. Elston.
He will be coming to one of our meetings for a follow-up education session in January. He's well enough to come to our meetings now, so.
And that's where we have questions about questions. And I know I've had this conversation with a couple of counselors, and we're just looking at a more effective way of doing things.
Well, isn't there some way we can sort of develop a framework with them around for future, like when we're all dead and gone? A
That is-
framework that we can,
That's the purpose of asset management planning, which is being pushed by the government through this legislation that drives also the capital forecast. So we need to have ours in place, and we need to work with our neighbors for our boundary roads, and that is also captured within the asset management policy, working with those documents. So once we have that in place, yes, we do have to work with our neighbors.
Okay, so again, review it, please. And then we'll discuss this again. So tonight is just for discussion, to put that out there for you to look at it. And then if there's any comments or questions that I can't answer, 2144. That's what I tell everybody.
We'd love to have everyone's input on it so that we can start to put numbers in, so that we have a document to be discussed at the table. So if you have anything, please call.
Okay, so again, a discussion item. Number 15, Committee of Adjustment members. And again, this is an annual. And everybody said they would like to continue.
They had, so the two members at large have made the commitment for the term of council. We just reappoint. But the reason that we do the appointment of the Committee of Adjustment every year is the Planning Act tells us we have to for members of council. So it's a housekeeping item that we do each year.
So now you guys can get off it. I won't let you. So anyway, you're stuck with it. So I need a mover and a seconder. Counselor Butler and Counselor Yam. Because I think 2024 is going to be another exciting year. So it's number 2023-227, moved by Counselor Butler, seconded by Counselor Yam, that we pass bylaw number 2023-44, being a bylaw to confirm the appointment of members to the Township of Nipissing Committee of Adjustment, read a first, second, and third time, and passed this 5th day of December 2023. All in favor? Carried.
Eight is another one of those housekeeping items.
And those,
It was that deferred
Yep,
motion,
yep.
gets me all messed up. So
yeah, not a problem. So this one is to authorize temporary borrowing from time to time to meet current expenditures. Every year we ask, have we ever used this? We've never used it, but according to the ministry, it has to be in place in case we need to use it. And let's hope we never, ever have to use it. So I need a mover and a seconder. Okay, Counselor Kirkby and Counselor Foote. It's number R 2023-228. Moved by Counselor Kirkby, seconded by Counselor Foote, that we pass bylaw number 2023-45, being a bylaw to authorize temporary borrowing from time to time to meet current expenditures during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024, read a first, second, and third time, and pass this 5th day of December 2023. All in favor? I know you all read that it's only if we don't have any tax money coming in, so.
We have healthy reserves in the bank.
And the only thing you can count on is death and taxes, so. Correspondence. Let me,
There was a little bit, but we only met once in November, so it's quite a.
first one, number one, and this has been supported by Northern Ireland for Phenom, different townships, city of North Bay, Sioux, and it's just a resolution, and it's regarding intimate partner violence. And it suggests, it asks that we would support this resolution. I most certainly would agree with it, and if I look around the table and you nod your heads, we will most certainly agree with it. Did I say agree or disagree?
Agree.
Good.
You did it right.
Good. That's what I thought. I hope. I most certainly agree, and hopefully we can support that. And we could put it in a resolution for the next meeting. And this, of course, comes more to our attention after what happened in Sault Ste. Marie not very long ago. So if that's good, we will have a resolution for the next meeting. Number two, request for financial support. Boston Lions Club Christmas basket. They point out that they also put baskets in as well, and Chisholm. This has gone to all three councils. Traditionally, with any group, we've given $100. Do we want that to change, or do you stay with $100?
Stay with
100.
Yep.
Okay,
We'll put a motion forward at the next one.
okay. That's. Crime Stoppers. The recognition of Crime Stoppers Month, right there. I just want to, what we've done in the past is we've also made a donation to Crime Stoppers for the simple reason, as soon as we start dedicating months, we run into the same problem that Colossum did with competing organizations saying, we want you to dedicate this as this month. And another that's exactly the opposite, saying, please dedicate this month for this. So what we've done here is, I know we all support Crime Stoppers, and perhaps the best way of doing that is donating $100 rather than saying, we're going to dedicate this as Crime Stoppers Month. Because I don't know how many people are watching us tonight, but I know $100 would certainly help Crime Stoppers. So if you're willing to do that, we would make a resolution on the next one to support that.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Okay. The next one is a federal fall economic update. And it's,
Exciting news in there.
yeah, some exciting news. The one that I found exciting was the last one on the first page that said $50 million over 3 years to support municipal enforcement of restrictions on short-term rentals intended to help return short-term rentals back to the long-term housing market. So this comes from AMO. This is a policy update. It's information for us, but I wanted to draw your attention to that. There's nothing to support here. AMO's already done this on our behalf. But
Good news for the municipality.
yeah, because
Situation.
Yeah, French River, Noelville, they passed one. Have you seen it yet or it's not?
I've met actually
Yeah.
with the CAO
Oh,
from
good.
French River, and I sat in on a session with Sault Ste. Marie in the city of North Bay.
Yeah,
They have their challenges having people sign up.
Yeah.
And they have larger enforcement capabilities than we do.
Yeah.
And, the fire chief and I sat in on a AMCTO bylaw enforcement seminar last week, where there were some ideas, and so we've been still gathering information. I think by the beginning of next year, we'll have some recommendations to bring to council for ways that we can start to work with it.
Okay, the next one is just for information from the health unit. And again, see your members there. If there's ever a question, feel free to ask any of them. It's funny because one in particular is also the southeastern appointee. It's also on the East Home Board, so we have Marianne Stickland, so we have discussions with them, but again, an information item from the health unit. The next one, and this is Coleman Township. And I support Ontario conservation officers in their efforts to have conservation officers reclassified as enforcement officers and be compensated fairly and support of all municipalities. Now, this has also gone on to FNUM. I don't know if we want to support this now or if we wait and see what FNUM has to say about it. Any comments or questions?
I thought that they had full authority to enforce all laws in the province as it was.
I did as well. I'm wondering if the question is, and be compensated fairly.
Would that raise their compensation, say, up to the level of OPP or municipal police or what?
See, that's the gray area here that why I would suggest that I'm not willing to make a resolution, because what's fair compensation,
Yeah, there's no definition.
there's no definition for it. So I'd like, if we don't mind, if this goes on to AMO or FNUM and they give us a little more information. And I don't think we're entitled to ask how much the local enforcement officer gets.
no,
Not that I wouldn't anyway. Okay, now the next one. Speaking of enforcement, municipal policing reference guide. And a lot of reading. Pretty dry, going over the different police forces, the different types of policing, civilian policing, payments, whatever. I think not long ago, we also got something, it was just an email on salaries and everything like that from the OPP. That was a while ago. So in the meantime, this is their reference guide, and they consider this an information item. Is there any questions? I have questions. I don't understand a lot of this, but I think we need a representative from the OPP to explain it to us. And traditionally, they used to come once a
They
year.
did, but we haven't had that since pre-pandemic.
Right, so that might be something we reach out to and have them come. And when they did come, they would explain calls in our area and what those calls cost us, things like that. So maybe after looking at this at a quieter meeting, I'd suggest that they might come back.
Yeah, could we extend an invitation?
Yep,
Yeah, okay.
and it used to be
Staff sergeant.
staff sergeant would come down and he would bring us Nipissings and then go over it with us. So if that's possible, I'd like to do that again.
I believe in the past, we used to come on the same night, we always had the audit presented.
Mhm.
So March, so I'll look into that.
Okay. The next one is Commanda, and I know Councillor Foot already mentioned this, that this is for their fundraising dance on New Year's Eve. And this is just information, and then we take it from there. And next is the National Housing Accords Report and Recommendation. That
They request that we support their resolution.
but this will also go to FNUM and AMO. The question that's coming up is, as more and more of these go out, if you get 444 resolutions, is the minister gonna look at it? Or is he gonna say, I wanna see what FNUM said or what AMO said, you know? Because they are our umbrella organization, you know, and we support them, of course. So do we again let this go to AMO? Because I'm sure we all support the National Housing Accord. Whether it has absolutely any,
There's a lot of work going on at AMO for this as well.
yes. You've had a quizzical look.
Well, I was wondering what would have more impact on the minister? 444 resolutions from individual municipalities. I do know that FNUM is or AMO is our representative here. But if everybody threw in a resolution, then they know we're supporting AMO on this.
Right.
Wouldn't it have an impact?
Again, I'm not sure if that is an impact or our resolution says we support AMO in their resolution, you know? Because they may see something in this that I don't, or we don't. And that's why I always kind of lean to them, because they have the expertise, the lawyers and whatever, to say, you don't want to support this line, like camping for 21 days, you know? So if you don't mind, I would wait for AMO, but then support theirs. And we can do 444 supporting AMO's resolution, if that's okay. Yeah. Only because I don't know if we're qualified. And I know I'm not. The next one is resolution for the Township of East Hawkesbury regarding Bill 21 to amend the Residents' Bill of Rights to the Long-Term Care Act. And I received this first resolution months ago from Catherine Fife and PP Waterloo. This is what she's come up with. And from President Jim McLeod, and again, what they're talking about is not to be separated from their spouse upon admission, to have accommodation made available for both spouses so they may continue to live together. I see this every month, I see it every week. And I would like to support this. The problem we're running into this even at our local home, is that right now, one spouse can get in, but if the other spouse isn't critical, they're not allowed in. So maybe this act will supersede this, you know, and I mean, we have examples right at East Home right now that are waiting. they're on the list, but they cannot get in for that reason. So perhaps I would like to support it, but again, it's a council decision. If you want to support this, comments, questions?
Absolutely support it.
Absolutely support.
Yeah,
Okay, we'll put that in for the next one. And the next one, participation from anglers Atlas and My Catch regarding the 2024 ice fishing challenge. $1,000 upfront. I don't know how to respond, and that's why I'm opening it to you. Yes,
I was reading this and I was thinking, $1,000, I wonder if we could go to the local outfitters and see if they would pool that together. Because it's supporting them more than anything else, supporting the local outfitters, bring it forward to them. So if we did a mail out to the local outfitters, or
We don't
no?
have contact information for the local.
Oh,
outfitters,
right,
which
yeah.
would be our first problem, but there is a Facebook group that they have. I'm not a member. And I don't encourage reaching out by social media platforms, because I find that can be
Yeah,
a
can be.
slippery slope.
Yeah.
I'm really not sure which.
we do.
See, I'm not against this, not
No.
by any measure, because it would bring tourism to the area. Especially like Lake Nipissing, because it's famous for that, and not just Nipissing, but Nosbonsing, and, you know, but they're saying we should put up $1,000.
They're asking us to do it.
Right. What my suggestion would be, and I do know people on that Facebook that I would gladly go to them and say, would you like to share this with this group? But I will do it in person.
yeah.
I will not, well, you know, I can't anyway, but I will go in person and say, this is what we've received. Do you think, you know, it's a good thing? And maybe your Facebook group and the number of, I mean, there are a number of them on it.
Yeah.
And the number have changed this year too. Quite a
Big
few have
time,
changed.
yeah.
Maybe these new groups will go, yeah, this is a great idea. It'll help our, you know, burgeoning business. We'll go from there. But I will gladly take this and share that and see if they want to do that, you know? Because I think they are the better party to take this on than we are, you know?
Well, we're just the management group for the township itself. Where this is affecting is them, so.
Yep, and it's ice fishing challenge, and these are ice fishing outfitters on Lake Nipissing, so.
And there might be somebody in that group who is a better organizer than any one of us who might get something going for a 1 or a 2 day tournament throughout the winter.
Or they might wanna just do it for their own cabins, you know?
Yeah,
If they think that, you know, that's gonna get them a lot of support and a lot of, you know, a lot of advertisement. So if you don't mind, I will share this. I will take it and we'll see where they go from here.
Rob Hyatt would be a great guy to get a hold of. You know, Rob,
Yep,
yeah,
he makes stuff happen.
is he still in the biz?
No, well, as far as the tournament fisherman, yes.
Okay, yeah, not as
No,
ice
but
fishing.
he's so involved with the spawning the hatch, everything, and he's out there. He's a good person for that.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
So my concern from the township's perspective would be that I would miss some group or
Yeah.
miss someone, and
Yeah.
and that wouldn't be our intention, but you could see where that would easily go.
yeah,
yeah,
Very
you wouldn't walk away unscathed.
no,
so I will
We
talk
don't
to
need to look
him.
for that
yeah,
kind of problem.
and suggest what you were just saying, and he'd probably take it one way.
And if he doesn't, he would know who
Yes,
that I should go
Yeah.
to. So, sure,
yeah, Sean Devon's big time, like they have tournaments, pike tournaments, bass tournaments, they get everybody involved all the time. So,
yeah,
yeah,
so those would be two people
Yeah.
that we'll reach out to.
yeah,
Okay, and we had rec committee meeting and that was from November 13th, and we've already discussed that. In my pile, you'll never get it back. And the last one, number 13, and I know we all received this. And it was an email from Ken Cox, was received on November 16th, detailing a petition and formal request. Now, at that time, and I know I've gone out to Ruth Haven Drive to check it out, and I'm sure those of you that haven't know very well where it is. At that time, we had absolutely nothing to base any information on except this petition. So on the direction of staff, we took out our counter speed device and put it there, to the dismay, unfortunately, of other people who said, why would you waste valuable township time and money to do that? And in talking to Dan, they were bringing it back in then for the winter. So the entire expense was an hour it took to drop it off and then to pick it up. And by putting that out there, that gave us the information. And again, this was received on November 16th. This gave us the information for 9 days that that area was monitored, okay? And everything's there. And after this meeting, and one of the questions was why we haven't released this yet, because as council, we get to see these things first. Because council,
It was placed on the website
Right.
under the council package.
so it went out in the package, so everybody has this information as well now. And what I ask you is, and again, we did point out because someone was misguided, it is a 60-kilometer zone there. And if you look at the average speeds and the maximum speeds, 46 was the highest speed in 60. I think that's commendable. I don't know, what do we suggest that we go from here with this? Because we looked over traffic signs not long ago, Councillor Yem, how did you feel about that, you know?
Ruth Haven is not a through road, so anybody that's in there lives in there. So it's your daily drive in, your daily drive out. You know, people are gonna go for a walk or ride their bicycle. Should take it upon yourself to drive carefully, and that's my opinion anyway.
Well, I drove in there the other day, talked to an individual. And when I went by the sign, I was doing 41. That was it, 41.
Mhm.
And I thought that was the reasonable speed. And I'm looking at this, and the highest speed was outgoing at 46. Nobody speeds there, nobody.
Because they all live there.
They all live there. I think this is a moot point. The whole, I mean, it was a good thing that we did this, and to get hard data. But the hard data indicates that nobody's speeding there.
Dan?
You really can't. It's, you come off Alsace and it's curves after curve after curve.
And no shoulders.
Right, so I mean, you can't really build up speed.
So I think then comment or our suggestion at this time is that we received it, we've investigated it, and that we see no further steps to be taken at this time. Is that
Yep.
okay?
All right, Glenn.
And this can be shared with, well, the data can be shared with people at large now.
Yep. it's
Data's actually available, I'm sorry.
So you got it.
The data is actually available on our website under the council meeting package. That report is
okay.
there as well under the PDF. link. It is public information.
Sure. Okay, so thank you for going through the correspondence with me. If you will accept the correspondence, I need to move in a second. Okay, I'll go. Yeah, Councilor Butt. It's number R 2023-229, moved by Councilor Yam, seconded by Councilor Butler, that we accept the correspondence as presented. All in favor? Carried. Good catch. And next, accounts. So this is a month, so it's a beauty. If you have any questions, I'll get a mover and seconder, and then if you have questions, we can ask. So mover and second. Okay, thank you. Now it's on the board, so are there any comments or questions? Councillor Kirky?
Aroma registrations.
Yes, the resolution that we passed for attendance at conferences, Mayor Piper and myself are going to Roma, so those are the registration fees.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought that was, right, okay, I thought that was like an annual registration fee.
No, that's for the conference.
Okay. Got it.
And then as we go on, we'll see Phenom
Yeah.
and AMO and whatever.
And in January, you'll see the membership renewals for those associations. We're not currently a member with Roma. So
Oh, I see, okay. We had some parts returned from cuts.
I think that was us.
Oh,
That was
okay.
the fire department.
Wrong part.
Ordered too much.
That was for your safety, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was for safeties and they ordered too much.
I think those invoices took a little while to come back too.
They
so
did.
were kind of compounded.
That was from back in October,
Oh, okay.
no, August.
So they had already been paid and, yeah. Okay.
Okay, so I will read the resolution. It's number R 2023-230. Moved by Councillor Turkey, seconded by Councillor Foote, with the statement of accounts dated November 10th, 14th, 16th, 22nd, 24th, and 27th, 2023, totaling $190,222.59 be approved. All in favor? Carried, thank you. Okay, confirming bylaw. I need a mover and a seconder, Councillor and Councillor Butler. It's number R 2023-231, moved by Councillor Yem, seconded by Councillor Butler, that we pass bylaw number 2023-46, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its meeting held on December 5th, 2023, read the first, second, and third time and pass this 5th day of December 2023. All in favor? Thank you. Carried. And last but not least, adjourning resolution, mover and seconder. Okay. On that, Councillor Butler and Councillor Foote. I apologize, Councillor Foote, we didn't get done nearly as early as last night. It's number R 2023-232, moved by Counselor Butler, seconded by Counselor Foot, that the meeting be adjourned at 7:54 PM. Next regular meeting to be held December 19th, 2023. All in favor? Carried. And don't forget, December 14th, Raising Readers, December 15th, Open House. I want a puzzle